Hey, welcome back to the episode of Wrong Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. I really like how you did that intro, by the way. It was a really fluid intro. I didn't feel like it was weird at all.
Thanks.
Just rolled.
Thanks, man. Last week intro was real crapshoot, so I've been practicing all week. And
Perfect. I've been practicing all week, too, because I almost lost our audio last week.
No.
Well, just mine.
Your audio. And to,
audio.
To be more specific, you didn't lose your audio. You had audio. It was just recorded through your webcam.
So not worth it. It was the worst. Anyways, this week we're talking about Rage of Bahamut Genesis. It's a little show that we were recommended from one of our friends on Twitter, and I think it's a fun time. It's all right.
Yeah, it's a time.
You know? If I watched it when it was out, I might have been into it more.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about that a little earlier, but we're gonna for sure give our take on it. Yeah. So stick around for that. Obviously, we're going to give you a little bit of news because there's not a lot of news going on. But most importantly, we're going to talk about ourselves because we're self-centered people and we like to hear self-talk.
That's true. All of that is true.
That's why we have a podcast. We wouldn't have a podcast if we didn't like the sounds of our own voices. Even though I like the sound of your voice more than mine. So,
I think that's just a you thing.
No, I really like it. I think it's good. If I could have your voice,
I'm the opposite.
You want my voice?
Shit.
My voice.
I think it's better than mine at times, but I think that's just part of human nature. We're not used to hearing our own voices. We hear our voices in our head. We know how it feels to talk like us. Like if I talked like you, I might not like how it feels.
I will say, I do agree. I do think I sound a lot better in my head, and then when I hear it playback, I go, God, what a fucking idiot, man.
Right? I'm like, God, that's nasally and whiny and so fucking
fucking voice on that fucking goober. Yeah, so now that we're done stroking each other's egos, what's up, man? How you been? What's good?
I don't know, man. I don't even know how I am lately. I've been good, but I've been like disappointed by weird shit,
Okay. I'm glad. I want to hear about this. What's going on?
Look! Okay. So yesterday planned out my day. I was like, I kicked ass. I watched all the anime over the weekend, busted it out. We were good. Then I wanted to play games with my friends. I just wanted to sit down, play a little bit of Monster Hunter with Sam and Kyle. They were both looking forward to it, and so was I. Turns out that the update that they put Arc-Tempered Namiel in decided you have to play the game for like hundreds of hours if you want to fight Namiel.
Wait, like I don't get this. Are you saying like you just not leveled up high enough?
You have to be a certain level. Like they have a base game and you get up to level like 26 or something that you can fight almost everything. And then you have to level up all the way to like 50 to do another special fight, and it takes a long time. And then above that is like the same monsters but harder. Mm-hmm. And you have to hit level 70 to fight those, and that's where you get like the best gear in the game. So I did that. I'm level 85, right? You have to be level fucking 100. No, not even. You have to be a level 100 in order to fight Arc-Tempered Namiel, which, like, I just don't fucking get it. You have to put so much time in it just to do a little bit of extra content. They're like, you have to be this certain level. So anyways, Kyle got really sad. Sam and I were also bummed out, but I think Kyle was hit worse because, at least for me, I'm like, if I really want to do it, I could buckle down and I could bust out those last few levels. But Kyle's down at like 60 something, so it'd take twice as long for me than me.
I like how you say last few levels, which is like it's still 15, right?
15. It's a lot.
That's still a lot of levels. I'm assuming
it's still a lot of time.
Like most video games, it's harder to level up the higher you get. But yeah, Kyle's really behind then. I guess it doesn't make.
Well, that's the thing. Like Kyle played it a shitload. I played it with Tom, so I played the entire campaign with Tom, and that's why I'm like 20 something levels higher than Kyle is.
Right, because Tom was behind, right? Because he got to it late. Man, okay, so is it?
I played the game through twice, essentially. Still not good enough for you to fight this thing, and then I played a fuck ton more after that, and it's still not good enough. Anyways,
so you think
super disappointing.
You think they put that there because how much better can you be at level 100? It's only 15 levels. Right?
I know. Well, my thing was, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, they probably put that there because it's that difficult, and they don't want people joining, because it's an online game that you can play with strangers. They don't want people joining that'll just die in one hit and ruin the game for everyone. Yeah. Like, yeah, you're 5 minutes into the fight, and you can't play anymore because this guy died 3 times or whatever, you know?
Okay.
So I was thinking that. But then I don't remember who it was, but they brought up the point that there are other fights that are insanely difficult with like a bunch of one-shot mechanics where if you get hit by it, you are dead. That they haven't blocked out for other people. You have to be like level 20 something in order to do these insanely difficult fights. So this one, it turns out, nah, you just have to be the highest level that we require for any content in the game, which... There's just one quest at level 100, and it's just go kill this one thing, and then you do it, and you should be done with the game, but you still grind out the levels for some reason, is what they think. It's insane. Anyways.
Yeah, so, okay, it's a bummer.
I'm freaking disappointed, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, other than that, I'm actually super satisfied, but that was just the most recent thing. Aside from work, work's been fine. You know, it's had its ups and downs, and it's been chilling. But been playing more Animal Crossing. It's a new month, which means new critters to catch, new events going on, you know, stuff like that. There was May Day. You got to do a little May Day maze where you go and you fucking do a weird tiny puzzle thing. It was cool. Whatever. Did you ever play the original Animal Crossing?
No, I played one on the DS. Is that the
okay?
DS? That's the one but after the Game Boy, right? The one that's like the dual screens, right? That's why it's called a DS, dual screens.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god,
crazy! It's crazy, right?
Crazy. Wow, look at the brain on Juan. I played one later. Just I think it was like green something, like leaf something, or I don't know,
yeah, New Leaf.
Yeah, I played it because like some friends in college,
there's like Wild World and New Leaf, and
they're like, you should try it, and I was like, and I tried it, and I was like, yeah, this game's not for me. It's like I very quickly learned like this is the type of games that I like.
Right.
I wanted to tell you something. I don't know. It's a secret. Sierra's over Animal Crossing.
Sierra's over it.
She's playing.
Yeah, I understand that.
She's playing. What is she playing? She's playing. It's not Stardew. Harvest Moon. She's been playing a lot of that.
She's been doing that. Yeah, Isaiah got into her head.
I don't know what it is. She was like, because she had the game. She's got like a bunch of stuff already made. Like, you know, she's got all the cows and the chickens and stuff. And she's married or whatever. Fucking Dean, piece of shit.
What?
Anyways, Sierra's just like, yeah, the game's not over yet. She's like, I haven't had a child yet. And I was just like, you can have a child with Dean, huh? And she's just like, are you gonna put a baby in me? I was like, fuck no. And she's like, well, then fuck off. I was like, all right, I guess live vicariously with Dean or whatever. But yeah, she's been playing that, and I was like trying to get a understanding. Like, why are you tired of this? But you're kind of playing a very similar style game. She's like, she just needed a break, I guess. But she says she's gonna go back.
Oh, you very much need a break. Yeah. Like, I was at my okay, I'm not really playing it anymore point, and then I realized, oh shit, it's a new month. So I went and caught all the fish and all the like bugs and shit. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to try to make a fuck ton of money, and I'm just going to look for the items in my shop every day, and that's all that I want, because I want to make an outside, like, concert area.
Oh, cool.
So I want a bunch of different instruments and stuff. I've got, like, a little film projector.
I'm going to say it. And I know I've said it before. KK Slider's music sucks. He's not a good musician. He is ass, okay? He's no Drake. Okay. He's no Kanye. He's no.
Let's calm down.
He's no the AC/DC. He's no the Beatles. He's no Mr. The Weeknd. He's none of those guys. Okay.
No, he's not.
He's for sure no Childish of the Gambino. Okay, he can get the fuck out of here. I listened to the new Childish Gambino album actually.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Came out last month. I enjoyed it. It was for sure way different. I don't know what he's going for. Like, it was it had some weird vibes. I didn't like all the songs. I liked a lot of them. It's worth a listen though. It's interesting for sure. So I couldn't even tell you the name of the songs because he didn't name all the songs. A lot of the songs
are they're not like catchy.
Well, no, it's not that. It's that his songs, the titles are like one song's title is like 3.245. Another one's like 1.72. It's just like they're just numbers, and I don't know what they mean. It's like, you know, when so like, you know, like an artist trying to do something like deep or whatever, and it makes sense to him. to me, it made no sense.
I feel like that's all that Donald Glover has done for a while. Yeah. And like, I'm rewatching 30 Rock right now.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, seeing him run in as an extra, be like, excuse me, I'm coming through with like a bunch of donuts. You're just like, you used to ride on this show, dude. You won an Emmy for this, and now you just do some weird experimental shit from time to time.
Yeah,
sometimes it works, but sometimes it's like, okay. Like, do you remember watching his interviews on talk shows and shit?
Yeah, he's really weird. Like,
I do not like his interviews.
I feel like he morphed into that because I liked his. I remember seeing earlier interviews
his
like
stand
I like
up and stuff. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's the. Why are we? I feel like I end up talking about Donald Glover at least once a week. I fucking love that guy, but because I think he's very talented. I really enjoy all the things he does. Like I rewatched
he's super unique.
Weirdo. I rewatched his stand-up special, like super entertaining. We were talking.
I saw it just re-advertised on something.
We were talking about you watching 30 Rock, and I was like, oh, I should watch that because I'd never seen 30 Rock before. And I watched some old Derek comedy. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There's like because I finished Community, I finished second season of Atlanta, and like I was like, oh, I'll check out his album, and I was like, yeah, like it's for sure like. He's changed. Like he's like not like in a bad way. It's just like he's just for sure not the same person he was a long time ago, right? Like I mean, maybe it's just I don't know, like he's an artist or whatever, and whatever the fuck that means, right? But yeah, the album
something happened. But...
the music was like I enjoyed it. Like I was able to be like, oh, it's a good song. That's catchy, but it was for sure way different. Like when I remember hearing like, was it like "Send Me Your Love"? Is that what it's called? Or "Awaken My Love"? The last album he dropped with the Redbone and like.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. I like, most because of the way Spotify looks and works. I know the artist name and the song name,
that's it.
But I've lost albums. I know what they look like, but I have no idea what they're called.
I think it's called "Awaken My Love," and I really liked it because I listened to it on a lark because I don't really like his rap. Like I'd heard his rap before, and I was like, oh, it's not really for me. And then I was like, it said, hey, new Childless Champion album. I was like, sure. I sat down, I was like, I'm gonna listen to this rap album, and it was something completely different. I was like, oh, cool. This I like.
Yeah, I'm pretty mixed. I feel like there are a lot of times where I'm like, yeah, I'm vibing with this, and other times where I'm like
I'm
really.
not vibing with this yet.
So I think I have to be in a certain mood as well. So there are some things that I just straight up like, other things that I straight up don't like, and then there's a lot of stuff that. It's really temperamental how I feel about it. But yeah, I always liked him when he was in Derek comedy, and then going on Atlanta's been amazing. He's a really unique dude and a really shitty interviewer, and I don't know if that means that he's like weird in real life. I used to feel like he would be the chillest dude to hang out with,
and now you're like maybe not.
And then suddenly there was a weird transition where he became somebody different. Well, I don't know.
That's super funny. I was reading like an article earlier, like a couple days ago, about like people more openly speaking about how Ellen DeGeneres is like a total bitch. You know?
Oh yeah, people are doing that. Yeah.
And I was like reading it. And I was like, man, what a fucking bitch! Like in my head, like thinking this out. And then after reading the article, sitting there, I kind of thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what, like. So what? Like maybe she's just fucking tired of being like this super positive, great person. Like she does a bunch of great things on her show, brings up, helps a lot of charities. She does all this stuff, but she has to be this super animated, great person. Like maybe when she's not on camera, she's like, fuck it. I'm just going to be an asshole. And that's who I am. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's your choice. Like, I mean, maybe you're tired of being nice all the time.
Well, it's weird though, because I feel like clearly at work, I'm like way less
animated.
I don't want to. I don't know. I'm less genuine for sure, but I'm very nice to everybody. Yeah. Like I'm really nice to everybody, and I do mean well, but I'm definitely just like highlighting certain parts of my regular personality and saying that's entirely me. That's just me right there. So I totally get that like change in dynamic, but I also feel like that's an extension of myself that I'm putting out there at work, where here I'm able to like bitch and moan and talk pretty casually and stuff. I don't know, man. It's a little bit weird that she would be like a mean person off stage instead of just like a more chilled out, like, I mean, I'm not going to be super peppy and over the top, but
maybe it just comes off that way because like you're expecting this like this animated monster character. Like, and I was reading some of them, and like one of them was like, yeah, she didn't say hi to me, and she wouldn't like look me in the eyes. Like, so no one owes you a fucking hello. No one owes you like a, it's like, I don't know. I was playing devil's advocate, but I was just like, maybe she's a total bitch. Maybe she is being a real monster, or maybe she's just like, who the fuck cares? It's none of my fucking business. I don't care.
I think all that matters is that the internet goes crazy with certain things, and they will jump on a train, and they're just on it. Like, have you been hearing about what's been going on with the Doom soundtrack?
Yes, Burger Wall. I'm aware of what's going on with Burger Wall.
Okay, so the Doom soundtrack came out pretty recently, like a month after Doom Eternal came out, and it was not what people expected. It didn't meet their quality that they were used to. And everyone's like, the fuck's up with this, dude? And then they found out that there are a lot of tracks that look certain ways. So clearly you could tell that like the waves were different and they were all clipped and like stuff was weird with that. And there was another dude on the soundtrack other than the original artist. So they immediately jumped on the, hey, fuck this other guy train. And they had mentioned like, hey, original artist, what's up with these songs? Like, why do they sound not that great? And he's like, yeah, I didn't mix those. So that's all he said. He's like, it was the other guy. So everyone's like, yeah, fuck this other guy. He fucking sucks. And why was he even there? It should have been this regular dude for everything. Well, then after like people were whining and bitching about it and totally throwing this guy under the bus, the game company id came out and said, hey, so we understand that people aren't really happy with the quality. We also have some issues with the quality, but it's by no means this guy's fault.
Yeah.
This is what happened. They like explained everything. Essentially, the main artist is being an artist, and they're like, yeah, I can get you like a full fucking album by this time. And they're like, sweet, perfect. And then when it got closer, they were like, hey man, how's the album coming along? We're trying to, push it out of this day. He's like, I'm going to need another month if I'm going to finish these last 3 tracks. And they're like, that fucking sucks, but we totally understand it, man. So we're going to go ahead and extend that date. And he's like, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for understanding. That's great. And then when it got even closer, they were like, hey, dude, what's going on? Are these tracks going to be done? And he's like, I sure hope so. Like, I'm trying, you guys. They're like, hey, do you mind if we have our guy, like, do something as backup just in case? And it's like, yeah, no, please go for it. Like, I could use some help on this project. So the other guy mixed a bunch of tracks, but he didn't have the original audio tracks. He just had the ones that were sent over. So he essentially took an unnatural recording that was all compressed and shit, and then he had to do editing with that. So he had to do some like crazy shit. The original artist made 12 songs. The other dude made like a bunch more, like a ton. And they were all, of course, the original guy's music, but it wasn't mixed in the right way and they sounded worse.
Because he didn't get the raw versions of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. He didn't get the raw version. They were all clipped. Like, they were all fucked up. And instead of the guy being like, yeah, I didn't work on that one, so they didn't have my original wavelengths. And there was a time crunch. Like, he could have just said that. But instead, he was just like,
not my
yeah,
song.
I didn't work on that shit. He's like, I'm not a fan of it either, dude.
Okay, so now that I'm talking about Doom soundtrack, for some reason, all I can think about a Doom soundtrack being like, dun, 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 dun. Is that a lot of that?
It's
a lot
just
of metal,
really heavy, like metal shit. Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds really good. It's really fun, but I don't know, man. I really like the Doom soundtracks. I got a couple of Doom songs on Beat Saber, and man, they are crazy.
Oh yeah, man. Oh,
I also got the Home Depot theme on Beat Saber.
Home Depot has a theme?
Yeah, if you saw the commercial, you would like totally remember it. It's a guitar that starts out with like dun 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 dun.
Oh, that is the Home Depot theme song. Yeah, that's right. They do have a theme song. That's super funny. Good job. Yeah, killing it. You've been playing a lot of Beat Saber, haven't you?
No, honestly, I played one night of Beat Saber because I got pissed. I was like, I have to unplug my second fucking monitor to use a headset. This is bullshit. Like, totally entitled. And I played the Home Depot theme and some Doom.
It's funny, man. Oh, shit.
But in general, I don't know. This week's been all right. Nothing's been super exciting to talk about. I haven't really done a lot of cool shit. I've just been kind of sitting around, I guess. I'm trying to think. Played a lot of Animal Crossing And I didn't play like any Final Fantasy, but that's my plan for today and tomorrow after we're done recording. Bust out a few hours on that probably. I don't have work tomorrow. Huge relief.
Yeah. No, Final Fantasy VII is not going to play itself. So.
Oh, no, it won't. Oh, it won't. And I don't know. Big exciting news for anyone that cares about what's going on with Kyle. It's been a while. He's been trying to get a hold of...
Sorry.
It's been a while.
I always, every time you say it's been a while, I feel like really often on the podcast, and I have to control myself every time to not want to sing that song.
You know, I secretly say that more.
You son of a bitch.
not just to you though, because all of my friends go, it's been a while. So Kyle would really appreciate that.
Son of a bitch. Because like I remember last week you did it, and I was just like, podcast was done. And I'm just laying on the couch. I'm like, it's been a while. And I was like,
that's what you gotta do, man. So long story short, Kyle has been trying to get in contact with unemployment and get like those benefits right now during everything, and he just hasn't been able to, and they won't return his calls. He can't talk to a real person.
Yeah, it's the worst.
He doesn't have a claim number, and he's just confused, and he's looked up everything that he could. Well, he finally got something in the mail from them, and it didn't have any claim number. It had like no information, but he checked it out. He set up his card or whatever.
Yeah.
And he has enough money to last him for a bit.
Okay, that's good.
I am so relieved because I was worrying. I'm like, is this dude gonna be able to pay rent? Is like bad shit gonna happen?
Yeah.
I hope he's able to like talk to me before that happens, because I'm not willing to let that happen to my homies.
Yeah, it's the homie. No, like, for sure. I was because I was worried about Kyle too. Like before the whole like, you know, him not being able to get a job, because like, you know, his job ended kind of around the time shit kind of popped off.
Yeah, exactly. I was concerned
like,
about that.
So it's kind of hard to get a job anywhere. And the police places that are like hiring are like, hey, you want to be one of those cart guys at Walmart or like Costco? And I go, I don't think Kyle could, because Kyle's a small guy. Like, I don't think Kyle could push those carts. And if Kyle gets like sneezed on, he's dead. Like I just don't know if his body could fight it off. I was worried about like that. But I also in the back of my head like, yo, Kyle needs to figure some shit out. That's good. And I know that the unemployment thing is super like frustrating, because I fucking hate talking to automated anything.
Oh man,
I just whenever I have to go, I go speak to representative.
I just hate talking to people.
Yeah, well, like when I need to talk to, like when I have a problem and like, hey, call our number. Like, okay, please don't send me to a robot. And I have to like fucking do the fucking.
You have to beep boop your way.
Yeah,
through.
The numbers, and then you finally get to the point, and they go, "What do you want?" I'm like, I want to talk to a human fucking being, like a person. And it's fine. I don't care if I'm on hold, but stop asking me stupid questions. Like Xfinity will be like, hey, do you want to pay your bills? Like, I want to speak to somebody. And they go, okay, you know, you can pay your bill online. It's like, that's not what I'm fucking here for, man. I want to talk to somebody. And they go, all right, cool. Do you want to pay your bill online? Like, it's like, God damn it, please. So that's good. I'm really happy to hear that Kyle was able to figure this shit out.
I'm super happy.
Good for him.
Really nice.
Drinks on Kyle.
And, drinks on Kyle. And I think that's it. I don't think I've watched or done anything exciting. It's just been fucking... That's this, man. Just hanging out indoors, being the best me that I could be.
That's what's up, man.
Hell yeah. What have you been up to? What's your life?
I've been doing some stuff this week. I said I was going to, and I did it. I watched that improv show you were telling me about.
Yeah.
I watched the first... Because I hit play on like Netflix... And it was really funny, and I was laughing my ass off. And then like it finished. It's like an hour long. What's it called? It's called something in something.
Middleditch and Schwartz.
Yeah, it's on
which is their Thomas Middleditch and Ben Schwartz do an improv show,
like a long form improvised show, which is really interesting. I didn't know how to play. But they were both really funny, and it was entertaining. It kind of reminded me of like when you're just bullshitting with like your friends, you know, and like you just kind of
it's a little bit of that, but then you remember everything, and it goes on for a long time.
Yeah,
and you try to create something with it instead of just put stuff out there.
Like the best bits is like when like they say something in the beginning jokingly, and then they start doing stuff, and they bring in something from way back.
Oh my god, it's so great.
Oh yeah, remember the thing, and you know they keep going.
Back.
Yeah, those
like,
are
Nigel.
Yeah,
like, super. Yeah,
Nigel was good. Yeah, or like we're just two Italian guys in New York. I was like, oh Jesus Christ, they fucking did it. But yeah,
it's so good. Short Paul officiated the wedding. I don't know if I think I said that on the podcast last week, but he officiated the real wedding from episode 1.
Oh, what did you talk about? Short Paul from episode 1.
Yeah. In real life, the real Short Paul.
Oh, that's right. Okay, now I get what you're saying.
Their
Right,
real life wedding.
He was a wedding. Okay, like
yeah. The whole prompt of the first one is
the wedding bit. Yeah,
somebody's friend is getting married, and it was all like done in this weird ass backwards kind of storytelling way, because that's what happened from the audience suggestion. And you got to learn a little bit of background about it. And there's an ex from 6th grade that's going to be a part of the wedding or there or whatever.
And they took it.
His one descriptor is he's short.
I love the voice that he picked for him. And I love that he's just like, he goes, when you guys kissed, like we were having sex. We were making, I was like, at 6th grade? He's just like, this isn't stopping me. This is not deterring me from continuing to say what I'm saying. Yeah, no, so I played it, and then when it was done, it was just like, it's only 3 episodes. I was like, it was all of it, and I go, what's going on? So for some reason, when I hit play on Netflix, it just played the last episode. It played episode 3, and I was like,
oh, shit.
Oh, that's weird. And so I was like, all right, well.
Luckily, you could watch them out of order.
Which made me really happy. So I went back, watched 1 and 2. I think I like the wedding one and like the fucking the job interview one the most. I think I like the school one
I like
the least.
all of them a lot, and I think I agree with you.
But the my God,
there were great bits in the school one though.
There's good stuff in it. But I remember like being done, like those are great. I loved like Slauson. I was like, what the fuck is that? It was a really fun time. Me and Sierra watched all of those together.
Did you have a favorite bit out of everything?
I couldn't tell you. Yeah. Because there's just so many that are just really great. But I gotta.
Well, I really liked in the first episode, which is the wedding, because Short Paul was officiating the wedding or whatever. They had to keep standing on chairs and look up at like each other or whatever.
He wasn't officiating the wedding. He was getting
in the middle of it, and he was saying some mean shit.
Yeah, he wasn't saying he objects. He's like, hey, if he's gonna say something mean, I have something mean to say. He says, and he stands up.
I got something mean to say.
No, so what I really like about that bit is that like I don't know which one of them. I think it's is it Ben Schwartz? He's the brown haired one, right?
Yeah.
He's fucking with the other one. He keeps like looking at the left and right to make him have to go stand on the chair,
like, switch sides a whole bunch.
And he's like moving a bunch,
jumping down from the chair, jumping up onto the other one.
And eventually he's like doing it, and so then he's had enough of it. And so then he looks back like, say it, yeah. He's like looking at the person. I was like, that was fucking money. I thought it was really good. I like him like freaking out over like how people wipe their ass with toilet paper like too much. He's just like, who the fuck cares? He has like this, it's like
he's from New York.
Like he has a real big deal about it.
I forgot about that bit. It was so stupid.
Or the like, they switch is like, who do you think? Who am I? Am I my inner self is Slauson and my outer self is like they were really good.
It's hilarious. One of my favorite things was when Jason, the alien from the second episode, is when it was such a bizarre thing and we didn't know what it was yet. We just saw the little preview of behind the door. And he's just like, I'm not fucking dealing with whatever the fuck you got going on.
He's like, I don't want to do it. This is
your problem. You created it. You deal with it.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. Just how mad he's like, I don't fucking know what to do here. And then one of my favorite lines from the whole thing is during the interview one where he comes in for his interview at I think it was the New York Times.
Yeah.
New York Times was the one where he was doing comedy bits, right?
Where he was doing comedy bits, even though you want to take serious photos. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Anyways, he comes into the office and he's like, hey, do you want the door open or closed? He's like, these days.
Yeah.
He just kind of waves. Such a weird, like, what's that mean?
No, I like him stopping to be like, Timothy the third, and like he's stopping in the car and he goes, I just want to say, this feels too real. Like, this is too much, and we need to add something,
Add a different thing about the character that's very outlandish and not real.
He's like, because this is too much. He's like, all right,
you're making me sad.
Yeah, he has like a house of kittens or something like that, or is this like, cool, all right, where we go? Who the fuck cares? No, it was a good time. If you've never seen improv before, it's like it's a
really good representation
for sure
of good nights of improv. I've been to a lot of improv shows back in my youth, and there were some nights that were incredible, and other nights that were just not good at all.
Well, like I've also been to a lot of improv shows, but I was waiting for them to stop and then start a new scene, and I was just like, and they kept going. I was like, oh, cool. So this is just going to be them for an hour long, trying to stretch this thing out, because a lot of improvs is like
they do great,
little bits, they stop and then play a new game, so this was different. And I was like, I was skeptical how funny it would be, and I was like, no, this is really entertaining. So that was a good time. I also finished Better Call Saul. I caught up with this most recent season. I was able to watch it all. I thought this was gonna be the last season. I don't think that's happened. I think there's either another season or they're making a movie or something, because there's no way this shit ends where it ends,
Oh yeah, I completely agree what you're saying there.
But really
turns out your audio isn't coming through on Twitch because everything's got to go wrong somehow. We were like talking about this earlier, how the audio problems weren't happening and how something is wrong with that. And then it makes sense that your audio is all different on here. We'll be good. Don't worry about it.
I for sure have the audio recording on my end. I could see it, I can visually see it.
Oh yeah. We're going to be good.
So people can just guess what I've been saying for this whole time.
Exactly.
Have a good time.
Anyways,
guys.
I'm going to try to figure it out, but sorry, gangsters.
What was I saying? Okay, so because I finished Better Call Saul, I've also I've been working on my animation. So I can always put something up on the window to have like noise playing. Sometimes it's music. Sometimes it's just like a TV show. I've rewatched Breaking Bad. I'm literally on the last season. Because I want to watch El Camino. I haven't seen it. I kept pushing it off.
Yeah.
And so I was like, cool. Finishing Breaking Bad, just finished Better Call Saul, gonna watch El Camino. So those are like my plans, and I'm gonna hit all those things. Let's see, we were talking about music earlier. Drake dropped a new album that he's been working on.
Oh, really?
Me and DJ talked about it very briefly. It was fine. It's good. It's not amazing. It's not my least favorite. It's not my favorite. It was like, okay, I'm going to listen to this a few more times and maybe find like 3 or 4 that like are going to be like for sure like go-to plays, and the other ones are going to be like, okay, they're going to fall off into the abyss. But it was fine.
It was fine. Would you recommend it to people ever?
I'd recommend it to people who like Drake. I wouldn't recommend it to somebody who doesn't like. Like I would be like, oh, Trip, you have to listen to this Drake album, like because you wouldn't give a shit. But someone who likes Drake, I'd be like, dude, you guys check this out. It reminds me of maybe a little bit of this album, a little bit of that album, but it's not for everybody for sure. New Rick and Morty came out. Have you gotten to see it yet?
No, it came out on Sunday, and it's been 1 day since then.
Well, it was wild. It was a lot of stuff happening. And the end bit, like the last, like the real like punchline or the joke at the very end, fucking got me. Like I was in stitches. So when you get around to it, you got to let me know what you think.
Okay.
But it is a wild episode.
That excites me.
I got to take my dog to like the park for a play date with another friend's dog. We social distance, we sat on either ends of tables. And it was fine. Like she was having a good time being a total fucking idiot. She swam in the water like a total dingus. And my friend Ryan threw a frisbee into the water because he wanted his dog to like grab it. So he threw it into the water and the dog went after it, but the dog was too slow or he threw too far. And Ryan forgot that that frisbee that he was throwing sinks because it's made out of this plastic that's supposed to, like, it's heavier, so it can't be like torn apart.
Yeah.
And then like Ryan's like, well, I guess I gotta get in there. So he went to this nasty water to try to get this frisbee. He's just like knee deep in it, trying not to get too wet, and was like, dude, just give up. Like it's $15. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have another frisbee. I'd have to wait to get another one. Blah blah. And he's like, all right, I'm never gonna find this. And then he's like, I'm getting out of the water. And then he slips and falls into the water. And I go, well, now you have to find it. Now you have to, like, there's no excuse for you not to like go all in and find this frisbee. He found it, which is good. See what else happened. The most exciting thing was I had something come into the mail in Amazon, and I'm waiting for it for a long time. I had recently been trying to get into playing Kill Team, that miniature game that's like an offshoot of Warhammer 40K. That Kyle played for a while. I wanted to play back when he like first started like getting into it, but I was like, I don't have the funds right now, or I didn't have the time. I think it was like school and stuff were just like not giving me the time to do it. But I was like, yeah, I got nothing to fucking do. So like I'd been like piecing together like buying the minis and like looking into like the lore and stuff, but because like everything's so hectic, like the place that you would buy them, like their website there in the UK, they're like, hey, we're not shipping anywhere around the world. Like we're having a huge pause. And then they open up the shop and they're like, okay, cool, but we're not still not shipping to these places. Like United States counts as one of them. So like it took me a while to find the right place to buy like what I needed. So again, it's not essential. It's like I'm fucking dying if I don't have these things. So it's like just a lot of waiting. But yesterday finally came like the big piece, which is like the box with like all the pieces in there. And I used to play Mordheim when I was in middle school, which is like a skirmish version of Warhammer back in the day. They don't play that. It's not a thing anymore. But I remember like,
is it really? How did these? Sorry, but how do the different kind of tabletop game trends go in and out? Because I think Warhammer and Kill Squad and all that stuff, like that's pretty familiar and that's new with me. But all the old things.
Okay, so to my knowledge, like it used to be called, the original one used to be called like Warhammer Fantasy Game. That's what it was called. Like, and that was like elves and dwarves and like humans and all that was the original game. And that's like, I don't know, 70s, 80s kind of thing, right? And eventually those games like spun off other games, like, and it spun off this skirmish version game called Mordheim, which is like, you can play the game, but like you don't need as many minis. The war bands are smaller. And then, you know, things get discontinued or whatever. And other things pop up. Like eventually, you know, Warhammer 40K popped up, which is like, it's like the same game, but like in the future, and there's space stuff like that. But there'll be times where things just get like cut out of existence. Like recently, I think within the last 5 years, the game that was the original like Warhammer Fantasy no longer exists. It's now called Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And like
oh really?
So they changed like some of the mechanics of the game. They made new miniatures. A lot of them are like, I would say similar. Like you still have elves, but they're called something different. You still have dwarves, but they're called something different. And they've discontinued the fantasy game. So like they no longer like make those models. They no longer make like books and updates for rules for you to play that game. Okay. You could still play it if you wanted to.
So you could still use your same models and then just...
Yeah. You could use the same models to play that game, but you couldn't use those models to play Age of Sigmar because Age of Sigmar is now this new thing.
Right.
Like Mr. Duncan was the guy that taught me about Mordheim. He played dwarves.
Big shout outs to the Duncan.
Mr. Duncan. He played dwarves, and they're really cool. They're were my favorite things to see, like the war bands. Now the dwarves in Age of Sigmar, they're kind of like, they're still dwarves, but they have like dwarves / steampunk. Like dwarves have always been kind of like engineering miners kind of stuff. So they build stuff, right? But these dwarves are like fucking, it's like they took a huge cup of steampunk and just drank the fuck out of it. And they're like all like chromed out and like golden pieces and like everything's gears and gads and stuff like that. So they have changed. Like Warhammer 40K recently made Kill Team and that's like a new skirmish game for that. And I think Age of Sigmar has also a skirmish game. I think that one's called War Cry. I couldn't tell you what the deal with War Cry is. I've just barely recently learned about it. But yeah, like a lot of things, you know, they'll do, what's the word? Like editions, you know, like D&D, like
yeah,
first
they'll put
edition,
out expansions and whatnot.
Yeah, so, you know, game like Warhammer Fantasy had a bunch of editions and like they'll have updates. Warhammer 40K has a bunch of updates and they like new codexes to balance things out, and like I don't know how long they do it for, like maybe like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, who knows, like, but they have to decide like at some point they have to like cut something off and do a restart to keep making money. And I think they're going to be doing that eventually with like 40K. They introduced these new type of Space Marines who are like bigger and badder and stuff, and they haven't really explained like how they work in the game, but they're like, everybody's like, a lot, because like online I've been like like watching a lot of videos. A lot of people have been talking about like eventually it's just going to move to this, like it's just going to make a shift somewhere. So which doesn't affect me. I just want to play Kill Team, so I got the figures. You know, I've been talking to Kyle, and Kyle's like, yeah, you know, eventually we'll be able to get around to it. So I got my figures and I was like holding them because like I hadn't held a miniature and since I was
been a minute, yeah,
since I was like 14. Or maybe even less, like 12, maybe 12 or 13. But I picked it up and I go, wow, these look really good, like detail wise. Because when I was younger, like we were still using, well, I was playing dwarves and I was using these older, like, you know, Warhammer Fantasy metal dwarves. And they were casted and they were like really heavy. And they weren't as detailed as the things that I got that are now these plastics, you know, that have, obviously they've done a better job of like learning how to make the molds and press this stuff together. But I'm checking them out and I go, holy fuck, like these are so small. Like I remember being like the miniatures, but like because I've grown and I'm now a man, like my hands are like like this, like fucking huge, and this thing's like tiny. And I remember being like a kid, I'm like, oh, I can paint this, no big deal. Now I'm looking at these things, I go, holy fuck, it's gonna take me forever to paint this. And like it's like at least misleading a little bit, because like, I'm watching all these videos of people paint stuff, and I go, oh, they make it look so easy. But they also have the cameras super zoomed in on that one section where they're like painting, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is gonna be a task, which is fine. I'm looking forward to painting them because like I like drawing, I like art stuff. So it's just gonna be like a part of the hobby. I'll get to play the game, but I also get to put stuff together, you know, and then paint them and stuff. So that should be fun. Now I'm currently like shopping around for paint and stuff because, like I said, everything's kind of like out of stock, or like, you know, they're not delivering stuff because of the pandemic. So. Mm-hmm. So who knows when I'll get the paints? I've started buying a few of them here and there. So like they'll get here when they get here. But I'm super excited because like I said, I've been waiting for a while for these things to come in. So now I have them. I can start gluing them together and be like, cool. I can start making my little kill team and eventually, you know, someday get out into the real world and play with either Kyle, or I'll hit up Cheeseburger and play with him.
Have you seen Cheeseburger?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. But
okay, yeah.
But every time I see Cheeseburger, he was like, hey man. He wants to talk to me about 40K, and I go, I never played 40K. Like I played more time and a little bit of Warhammer when I was like a kid, but he's so passionate about like 40K. I love hearing him talk to me about it. And like, you know, small knowledge that I have, I'll ask questions and he'll answer them. But he started playing Kill Team when it came out, and he was telling me that he was bummed out because he started getting people into it, and he wanted to start like building a community, but he was having a hard time of getting like all the people like to get together and play. So I'm sure he'd like, if I told him, hey, I'm playing Kill Team, he'd be interested to play at least a couple times, unless I'm the worst at it.
Which
I'm sure. So. I mean, it's just a game, but I'm sure I'll have like someone to play with. But yeah, I have not seen Cheeseburger. I hope he's doing well. Yeah. Hey, Cheeseburger, if you're out there, you know, take care of yourself, wash hands, be safe. That's it, man. That's been the week. I feel like I did a lot.
You have done a lot, yeah.
And when I mean done a lot, like I watched a lot of media and like consumed a lot of like fucking stuff, like visually, audibly. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Have I bettered myself in any way?
I hope so.
Absolutely.
No? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My fingers healing up pretty nicely. It still feels really weird. Like it's
is
like
it kind of like smooth because it's all new, or is it rough because
it's smooth? Shit? It's kind of puffy. I don't know how to describe it, but like it's still like there's bits where it's sensitive. Like if I touch something and like it kind of hurts, like a little shock, you know. But my finger kind of looks like it's like, at least the tip of it looks like I left it in the water too long. It's pruning. It's kind of like wrinkled together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope it smooths out some more, but I don't know. I think this might be as good as it gets.
Yikes, dude.
Yeah.
Big
it's not
friggin' yikes.
It's not going to be my like go-to, like, hey ladies, check out this finger of mine. It's not going to be like the piece that gets me all the action. It's going to, I'm going to have to hide it. I'm going to have to start wearing gloves or something. What you up to, man? You trying to figure that thing out, or are you giving up?
Still trying to figure it out. I'm pretty much giving up on it.
I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, that's why
I don't understand. Yeah. Because, yeah, it just doesn't play any audio whenever you talk. That's our issue here.
That's interesting. So, maybe you should play it. You should record it through your fucking webcam. That'll probably fix everything.
That'll fix everything. No, I don't know. It's weird. I didn't change a single setting. The only thing that got changed was I unplugged my monitor once this week.
That's what you get.
I'm just like on my phone trying to figure out why Twitch is having, or why OBS is having issues.
You wanted to play Beat Saber so bad that you fucking ruined the Twitch screen.
I fucking ruined everything. I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe I just have to reinstall my whole operating system. Just start it off from scratch, man.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But what kind of anime you been watching? You watching anything new? Anything at all?
I don't know if it's new, but I watched the most recent episode of Tower of God. It's like the end of them fighting for the crown. Had that been out last week or no?
Don't remember.
Are you caught up with Tower of God or no?
Yeah,
What's the last thing you remember?
It didn't end it though, right?
Okay,
it wasn't over officially.
Now it's for sure over. The one that I
I mean, he fucking exploded.
What'd you say?
He exploded.
Who exploded?
Our boy. I can't spoil it too much, but one of the turtles.
Yeah, okay, the fight's for sure over then if you blew up.
Yeah, well, I just wasn't sure if that signaled so when somebody completely fucking died.
Okay, well, I'm spoiling it because now I need to know where you're at. So the fight's over.
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, you son of a bitch.
They had homies come in and help out, and that's all I want to say.
And they end up in
it was amazing, and you're like, this is the best character in the whole show. He just keeps getting cooler.
Yeah, no, he okay. We're talking about Blue Turtle because I don't know his fucking name.
Whoa.
That's what we're talking about, though, right?
We're talking about Blue Turtle. Yeah, dude, when it was like, yeah, earlier before I found you guys, I formed another team inside my bag. You're like, oh, what?
So funny.
I was losing my mind.
What I really liked about that episode, and it's so fun. It's good because me and Sierra both had the same reaction to this. Blue Turtle sitting on the fucking throne. He's doing his thing, or he's about to start fighting, and he takes off his ribbon and ties his hair up, and we go, oh my god,
that was a ribbon.
That was a ribbon the whole time. Holy
I lost
shit.
my mind over that.
No, I was fucking losing it. I was like, I cannot believe it. This guy's the fucking coolest dude in the world. And it's not a bag of holding. It's like a bag of holding and multiplying. That shit's so fucking dope.
It's overpowered as fuck. It's super cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, but anyways, that episode ends with the fight being over and they're resting for a few days and Bam's still knocked out and fucking who would thunk it and it's at the fucking door? It's fucking Rachel. And I'm like, what the K?
Yeah.
So yeah, dude. I don't know if there's gonna be more Tower of God because I don't know the status of how many episodes they have done. But
I think that because it's a Crunchyroll thing, I think that they are gonna have more. I don't know for sure, but that's the way that it feels. So
if that's the case, I'm super stoked because that is the only anime I watch because I don't think there's a new Gleipnir. There wasn't a new Wacky Races.
I watched a new Gleipnir, but I don't know how new it was.
The last one I remember for Gleipnir was they meet the guy. They find out what the coins are for.
Yeah.
Is that as far as you got?
Find out what the coins are for. And he gets healed.
Yeah, that's the same episode though. Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking dude, I don't want to spoil anything. All right, guys, I'm gonna spoil a Gleipnir. Ready?
Oh shit!
It's fucking aliens, bro.
What?
It's aliens, dude.
Well, what?
That's crazy, right? Because I'm sitting there being
wild.
oh, I wonder what this is. Magic, witchcraft. And fucking maybe it's demonic. And jokingly you say, "Oh, it's aliens." This time it really was aliens. I was
it's gotta be aliens.
So yeah, that show is still interesting. I think that's the last episode that came out though. And like I said, there was no new Wacky Races. I guess I might as well go and watch that Yesterday song tomorrow day. Whatever.
Sing Yesterday to me. Sing Yesterday for me.
Something like that.
Hang on, I got this one. Sing Yesterday for me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go back and watch that just because there's no other anime that I'm watching. That I think that's going to continue for a bit at least. What about you, man? What have you been watching?
So let's see. There is... I don't know. I don't watch anime anymore. I had to catch up with Gleipnir, so I watched that, and it was good. The thing is, the show really doesn't need all the ecchi moments. Because it already feels like it's... Well... It already feels like it's ecchi enough, where you could see her naked inside of his body. You see that pretty frequently, and that's fine. Oh, yeah.
Talk to me, Trip. Yeah.
So that stuff's all good. But then when it comes down to,
panty shots? What's your issue, man?
Yeah, it's just the angles that they choose don't need to be that risque, is all I'm saying.
Sounds like you're un-American, dog, okay?
I hope I am.
That's patriotism right there, man. No, I agree.
Patriotism?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're not necessarily, vital to the story, but I feel like it's been a while since I've actually seen, a intentional ecchi show. And, that I want to actually, watch. The last big one that I remember was, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? That show is for sure ecchi. Doesn't need to be as ecchi as it is. But I really like the show, and I'm just like, well, I guess I just got to put up with it. And that's how I feel about Gleipnir. Like, it doesn't need it. It's really unnecessary because you're right. She is naked almost all the time. She gets inside of him or in a bathing
which
suit.
I'm totally fine with that. Like, nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
If you were a giant suit, would you let me get inside of you to run you around like a mech?
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Any chance to get you all up in my business.
What else have you been watching? Have you watched any new Bookworm?
Ascendance of a Bookworm. I didn't watch any more of that this week. I'm kind of waiting. I like watching that one at a few episodes at once. Watching it just like week by week, it's really slow. So if you watch like a few of them at a time, it feels really satisfying. Like you get a few cool pieces of the world and it all feels really homogenous and easy to watch. And then there's like, they slowly introduce not only like new elements of the world, but they introduce new characters to like think of things in different ways and just show things off really slowly. So while they come in, you might not really see what their main purpose is in the story, but if they come in, you get a couple more episodes. It's good. It just feels really satisfying versus Tower of God, where every episode is a fucking hype train and you could just do it week by week. Ascendance of a Bookworm, being a slower paced show, deserves a little bit more time.
Makes sense. What's the Ascendance of a Bookworm theme song? Like intro. Is it any good? Is it any good?
No, it's not hype.
Because I'll tell you, what if it was like super hype and you're just like, oh yeah, I can't wait for the Ascendance of a Bookworm. And you sit down and you go like, oh cool, she's making books.
No.
Because I'll tell you something, man, that Tower of God intro fucking gets me every time.
Oh yeah. Tower of God's a whole different deal.
Yeah, man. That's even the outro. Oof. That's my shit. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, man. Fuck. What else is on Crunchyroll? Is there anything?
The Digimon.
Yeah. And no, that's not continuing.
I'm saying that's another thing. You didn't ask if it's like a new episode.
No, okay, that's what I meant. Yeah, it's just Tower of God, Wave Listen to Me, Gleipnir, and the last episode of Appare Ranman that I watched, I think that was the one where they met Tomahawk Boy, and then that was it for a while. Like,
okay, the most recent episode
3.
Most recent episode of fucking the Wacky Racist show is like
Appare Ranman, yeah.
They raced the pretty boy, and like.
Oh yeah, and then they went out in the middle of the desert, and they were like, "All right, so I'm gonna explode this, and you're gonna repel with it."
Yeah, and that's how they win the race. They win the race, and then they like, "Hey man, you can have this Segway. You can fucking take the Segway." And I was like, "Oh, dude, they invented the Segway, and they just gonna give it away like that." Sierra was upset with that episode because she's just like, "That's cheating." Like, yeah, technically he touched the trees, like, but they're a team. They should both have to touch the tree. I was like, I don't know. I don't fucking know what the rules are to racing.
I don't know what the rules are either. But the important thing is, back in the day when racing was like a new thing, they didn't just fucking get in their cars and go. That wasn't the situation. Do you know about this? Have you heard of this?
They didn't have to like get out the car and then run to the end or whatever?
Yeah, so they run to start. Their car is off. They have to run in the car, turn it on, and go. Because it was a matter of like, how good is your vehicle at all aspects? So starting, how good is it to start up and then go? Like, can you get in there easily? Can you like fasten yourself in safely? Well, that whole thing.
It makes sense for that to be a part of the race back then. Now it doesn't, because all cars should instantly start. Like, you know, like,
oh yeah.
You wouldn't go to a race and be like, my car needs 20 minutes of me cranking this big ass shaft before I can make it go. You know, it would just be like,
well, it was still like you hop in and then you turn the key and you go or whatever. Yeah. But it was, or I guess they probably didn't have keys in those kinds of cars. Regardless, it was push to start. How fast can you get in and fucking blast off? Yeah, it was push to start.
It was push to start. Yeah.
Anyways, that was fucking nuts. Wave Listen to Me is good. It's where she got to do her first episode of what her show actually is, because she's been on and she did it drunk and then she did a couple more things, and now main character is finally able to have her own show at 3:32 a.m. and it's a cold open, so it's just like playing music, and then suddenly it cuts in with her, and her first scene is her about to murder her boyfriend. She's like in the process of like stabbing him and slitting his throat.
Is her show, because I mean, I have no interest in watching this show, but is her show like an advice column thing? Does she help people out? No. That was just that one bit
No.
The episode I watched, she was fighting a grizzly bear and reading like people's questions.
Yes, but
that's not her show.
Was not her.
Okay.
That was her show. She was playing a character.
Yeah.
That was fighting off a grizzly. Yeah. And doing all that. So her show this time is to have this monologue about a murder, essentially. She is a murderer. She's killing her boyfriend. That whole thing. So it jumps in with that. And there's an actual murder taking place at that time. And the radio stops and it starts playing this. And the girlfriend's like above the boyfriend, like still about to kill him. It was a whole very weird scene, but it was kind of cool. It's very over the top still, but it's a lot of fun. The way that they are convincing us that she can come up with these things on the spot so well is that, well, first off, she's very talkative and very imaginative and flavorful with her words, but she is given a script, like a prompt. It's supposed to be a kind of breakdown of different points to hit, but instead, because the director told the writer, like, just kind of make it vague so she has something to go off of, he sets up the scene with like 2 sentences and says just like, I don't know, I'm tired, come up with the rest yourself. And that's like all her script. So she just goes wild for like 30 minutes at 3 a.m. And yeah, it was a cool time. It's fun. I like her relationship with the other characters. Like her, I guess he kind of isn't a chef, but the other waiter guy that cooks and stuff, he's taking over the curry place, and they've got a different weird dynamic relationship, which I appreciate, just how they're both equals, but now he's her boss and he's trying to convince her to stay with the company because their actual boss got hurt really bad in a car accident, so he can't come into work. It's a whole thing. Her relationship with the different characters is a lot of fun, and just it's a really charming, sweet show with tons of personality, but it doesn't really have a real plot, which I think is probably an issue for you. Like, you watch it and she's slowly becoming like a part of the show and warming up to that, so you know what's going to happen. Episode 1 shows you where you're going to get, and then episode 1 also shows you, yeah, she works at a curry place and she's just like a regular worker, and then she gets roped into this whole thing. I think that, like I said, like the biggest deterrent for that show, at least for me, was how like fast paced like she would go. Like, you know, like I couldn't keep up with her. She was like stressing me out. Like she was just going. The first episode was the hardest one as far as that goes. That was tough. But to be fair, if you had to do that while being attacked by a bear, you would probably be all over the place. Okay, if I had to give someone advice, probably yes. While I was being attacked by a bear, while I was beating the shit out of a bear, because she kills the bear. She was fighting back. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You're right. I would also be stressed out and maybe a little manic. But be happy that I gave her that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm excited for more of that. I want to watch more pretty bad. But it sucks. There's not a whole lot of anime, so there of course is a lot of stuff that we could watch. I've been really wanting to rewatch Sound Euphonium, so I'm probably going to do that soon. I just feel like if I get into it and I don't have anything else to go to, I'll be upset. I also ordered the latest Promised Neverland, Land of Lustrous, and Made in Abyss, thank you. Those are the 3 mangas that you read, yeah. Yep, those are the 3 that I really like. And we'll let you guys know how those are next week, because I'll read them this weekend. I'm very excited about that. What's up, man? Do you wanna get into news then, since we obviously don't have any anime to talk about? I don't know. This show's so weird now. We used to have stuff to talk about. What is this show? Yeah. All right. Let's get into Let's get into the news, baby. So Trigger, you've heard of them. You know them. You love them. They're a studio that makes anime. They have for a long time. They uploaded all of Space Patrol Luluco to their YouTube channel, which if you are like me and are in the United States, you might not be able to watch it. And I don't think they have English subtitles, but the important thing is
it's there.
It's all on YouTube. It's a fun show. I don't know if it's on Crunchyroll anymore, if that's like a huge deal, but regardless, it's a fun show that references their other shows, and I don't know. It felt like a unique, fun, fast-paced thing when it came out.
I like the way it looks.
In that, yeah, it looks totally different, and then it does have like a not great story to tell, but an entertaining story to tell while referencing these other worlds that have already been created.
It's very Trigger, like the way they tell their story. Like it's like they're not what you would consider
fast. Like, it's slappy. It's not traditional. Not realistic.
Yeah. It's like I would say that show is like a more, at least in my opinion, like a better written version of like the Infernal Cop. Like Infernal Cop or whatever is very Adult Swim, like, you know, and I'm not the biggest fan of all the Adult Swim, like, you know, animations. So this show is like a kind of like a better amalgamation of like Japanese anime and like in that Western style of like adult animation. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good show though. Fucking great outro too. Whew, that outro.
Seriously. Outro's one of my favorite of all time. I think we've probably talked about that. Favorite of the decade, some of that shit. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so next piece of news. Sing Yesterday for me. What do you think? What do you think's going to happen? Is it going to be a delay?
It's probably going to be a delay.
It's the opposite. Sing Yesterday for me and Art have completed production.
Good job, Sing Yesterday. Now I have to watch you because there's nothing else to fucking watch.
Exactly, man. I just wanted to let you know that. Pretty crazy that two more shows are confirmed for like being completed. Very, very cool.
This might be like the easiest wrap-up season we've ever had in anime. We go, there's 3 shows that were completed. We only watched 2. Here we go.
But we're gonna have one season of anime where everything's stacked up. Like
that's our life, man.
They're like, all right, so here's the 50 episode season, episode 1. It's gonna be so rough. Oh, it'll be rough. Speaking of rough, ReZero, you know what it is. You love what it is. ReZero, the Frozen Bonds OVA is on Crunchyroll now.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, dude. Like, it just pretty recently came out from what I understand. And it's been announced that it would come out for a while. It's officially out on Crunchyroll. So Memory Snow and the Frozen Bonds are both out.
Cool.
Maybe
Maybe one day we'll watch ReZero. Probably not.
I watched
maybe
enough of it to know that it's just not one of those shows for me. It's like Your Lie in April. Like I get it.
I love that show. We should watch that
show. I know you love it. I've watched like 8 episodes or something like that, and I just don't feel.
Trip just doesn't have a heart. Trip's cool with kids being, you know, sad and, you know, lying in April.
It's like it just feels like it's trying to make you sad.
Yeah, that's the point. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, some things just like naturally do, but I feel like this one's really just like, yeah, we got to hit all the right points, and it felt artificial to me. That being said, maybe the manga, maybe the light novel, I don't know what it's based off of. Maybe that would really hit me, but the show didn't do it for me, which kind of sucks. I just, you know, we've talked about this. I wish I could be a part of these bandwagons, but like a certain series, I'm not part of that crew. Sorry.
I think I'm gonna watch the Magic Index. It's on Hulu. I was like, man, might as well. Got nothing else to fucking watch.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not true. I have plenty of things I'm supposed to watch, but well, you know, because
whatever.
Like, oh, yeah, but it's like whatever. Like nothing that's like I'm obligated to watch at least for the new season because everything's on delay. So oh well,
it's true. Oh well. So there's that about ReZero. The last piece of news, Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun is now streaming on Netflix. So there's just another show that we'll wind up talking about. Yeah. It's from 2014. So we're doing all this weird throwback shit where we're like, yeah, never heard of that. Oh, that makes sense. And this is another one of those.
For sure. We'll have to get around to that show eventually. So,
all right. So this week we are talking about Rage of Bahamut Genesis.
Yes, we are. Yeah, it was given to you by someone off of Twitter. I don't know his name.
Why not?
Because
he doesn't use a real name. Instead, his name is Simple Sandcastle.
His dad and mom could have named him Simple Sandcastle. But the reason being is because I'm not sure the Twitter you are. So, anyways,
for now,
he suggested this. I don't know, 2 weeks ago. We finally got around to it. So hopefully, he catches the episode, and hopefully he's okay with us totally shitting on the show if we end up shitting on it.
We're not going to.
Absolutely, we're going to shit on it.
I already said at the beginning of this episode, the show was all right.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was all right.
It was all right.
Also, I want you guys to know that there is a Twitter account that I now follow called Pokemon Sword and Shield News, and their @ is @SwordShieldNews. And their tweet from just moments ago is, "I jacked off 4 times today. Man, I miss her."
I don't think that's official. I don't think they're really.
Yeah, dude, they're verified. No, they're not. But holy shit,
yeah, that's pretty good, man.
It surprised the hell out of me. I'm like, whoa.
All right. So
stupid.
Something Genesis. What's it called?
Rage.
Of.
Yep.
Bahamut.
Very, very close.
Beelzebub.
No, way worse.
What is it?
Bahamut.
So Rage of Bahamut Genesis is a show from what we said 2014.
2014.
So 6 years. It's done by MAPPA. They've done amazing shows like.
Oh shit! You're doing all this yourself? Holy shit!
No, I was literally waiting. I was literally waiting for you to step in. I was like, oh come on, Trip, help me out. They've done shows, MAPPA's. They've done shows like. I got this. What's it called? It's not Baki the Grappler. It's
Can you explain it?
It's the boxing one.
No, you fucking idiot!
Oh come on, man! They don't do the boxing show.
I'm pretty sure that's Madhouse.
That might be Madhouse. All right, help me. All
right, Kakegurui.
They do that?
Yeah, they do that.
Okay,
Zombieland cool. Saga.
Right, they did that. Yeah, too. That's right.
Yuri on Ice.
Right. So classics,
Dororo.
Okay, you don't have to keep showing off.
Inuyashiki.
Okay. Which one's the last
Banana
one?
Fish.
Banana Fish.
And Kids on a Slope. All right.
So they do a bunch of shows that we've liked in the past.
Honestly, that's a really good set of shows that we enjoyed.
Pretty solid studios.
I feel like as far as all the animation goes, great. They did. Yeah. The animation's fucking great. It's stylized for this. It looks really good. They did a great job building the world and having so much there. It felt very alive. Which says a lot considering that this is a show based off of a card game.
Yeah, for sure. No, when it comes to the animation, there was times where it looked a lot better than other times. Just you can tell they put more focus into a fight scene or a chase scene and something. But even the scenes that weren't, I guess, set pieces or something, they were still pretty good. They were well done.
They looked very styled and clean.
Yeah. And I remember watching. I think I had watched at that point maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and you and I were talking, and I was just like. Yeah, I don't fucking know what the deal is, but this is for sure based off a game. There's no way it's not based off a game. And you go, oh, you're right, it's a card game. And we were talking about earlier how, shows that are based off games either go one or two ways. They either just literally play the game, right, in this world, which was Shadow something? Shadowverse, which just came out this last season. Or Yu-Gi-Oh, kind of like that. Or it's a show that doesn't really ever show any of the game mechanics or you bring any of that kind of stuff, but you can kind of tell because of a way certain things work, like magic in this world,
Yeah.
So exactly. Magic pops up and I go, that's very interesting. And then there's a part where he catches the bad guy, with his what are they? They're bounty hunter bracelets, and they get turned into these little, squares with their faces on it. And I go, this is a fucking video game. It is a game.
Absolutely.
But
here's the thing that I really liked about it is that a lot of game shows would be all right, so we're explaining this mechanic. This was just it's a show and it does the thing that's in the game. Yeah. And that's all. It doesn't really throw all these video game mechanic type things at you. It doesn't say oh sweet, this guy's a rank 4, which means that he's got a lot more magic and health than other ones, and we took him down, let's go. It was none of that. Instead it was just big fight, capture the bounty.
Yeah,
boom.
It did make me question why do you need to fight the bounty? It looks like all you need to do is say the magic words when you need them and it catches them. Because eventually, at one point, that's what it does, you know? And I go,
you don't understand,
what?
Dude. You could try that from the start, but the capture rate isn't as good, you know?
Yeah, you gotta, it's like when you
gotta weaken them. It's Pokemon.
Yes, you gotta weaken them. It's when you hit the button right when the Pokeball wiggles.
Exactly.
If you don't hit the button at the right time,
it
doesn't catch. Yeah.
You put that motherfucker to sleep and you catch him.
But yeah, that question came up when I think Sierra might have caught the first episode with me. And she's like, why is it? And I go, I was kind of like maybe trying to come up with an answer. And I go, you know what? It fucking doesn't matter, actually. It's just, who the fuck cares, right?
It's just what it is.
Did you watch all of it? Were you able to finish it?
Yeah, easily.
Okay. I was just making sure. Because
last week there were 20-something episodes, and I watched the first arc, and I was happy with that. This week, there was 13 episodes, and I skipped the one that was just a repeat of earlier. Because I skipped through, I'm like, is this just a straight up boop, 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 boop? Yeah. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah. All right, there's no reason to watch this.
Yeah, so episode 7, we watched this on Hulu, by the way. At least that's where you watched it on Hulu, right?
It's on Hulu.
Yeah, so
you can watch it on Hulu.
Episode 7 is technically episode 6.5, which is a recap of all the stuff that happened before, which took me by surprise because I haven't seen a recap episode for a show in so long. And we learned because of fucking that one show about the anime. What's it called?
What?
The girls with the donuts. What's that one called?
Oh, Shirobako.
Yeah, we learned that Shirobako, the reason you get a recap show is because shit went wrong with production. You know, like it's like, okay, cool, good to know. But I haven't seen a recap episode in a long time. So that was strange.
And sometimes they have like 15 episode seasons and they throw a recap in there and you're like, all right, 15 episodes. Sure, that could use a recap. Why not? Whatever.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to a 12 episode show and they throw a recap in the middle of that and bump it up to 13, it's like, nah, that feels bad.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool.
Also, it wasn't an inspired recap episode. Like back in the day, recap episodes like always happened. They were just a thing that you would get used to.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, remember these adventures, and you do remember them. From like Digimon to Trigun to fucking anything, dude. Fruits Basket. Recap shit's there. Usually it has a really vague kind of plan. Like Trigun's was these girls finally get back home from like doing a bunch of shit after the first story arc, and they're writing to all their family members now that they're able to like be at a place that they can send out mail. They're writing to everyone about what kind of stuff's been going on with their lives and their jobs, so you get to see recaps of all that, and the story's told from a little bit different perspective.
Yeah, like
versus instead of this show, where it's literally like, here's like a few minutes of our last 6 episodes. They for sure didn't do like a job of making it like wrapped up into like a bow or something. It was just like, here's a clip, here's a clip, here's a clip. And it was weird. I watched the first like 5 minutes of it and I go, what the fuck's going on? And then I go, it's a recap, skip through it like you. And I was like, no, it's not worth watching. I'm gonna pass this. The show did do the thing where like they add stuff after the outro. And I was like, so you gotta watch.
I was always tempted to just be like, oh, this, you know, to play the next thing, because the outro, honestly, I didn't like at all. Like the intro, I liked the song.
I don't remember the outro.
The outro was just like it's like someone poorly singing in English, like a Japanese person singing in English.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and it just wasn't good. So
I
had to stick around, and so I stuck around, and there was nothing new. But yeah, the intro fucking starts off big Game of Thrones vibes with the fucking the Atlas spinning, and I was like, oh shit, I'm about to watch Game, and like, oh, it's fucking about to watch fucking Rage of
Bahamut.
Yeah, fucking Genesis. Yeah, okay, so we're going to tell you what the show's about quickly because we've been talking about it, but not what the show is. So the show...
Loose plot.
Yeah, so the show's about a guy who's a bounty hunter, and he runs into a girl who is a demon, and she wants to go to a specific place. I don't remember what it's called, but he offhandedly says,
Helheim.
Like, oh, yeah, Helheim or whatever. I was like, he's like, oh, is he in the bar says, I've been there. It's this fucking horrible place. She wants to go. She needs him to take him. Mm-hmm. And she puts a curse on him and like with a kiss, and he has like, he's growing a demon tail. And so cool. Yeah. That's like the plot. They're going to go to,
because they made a contract.
A contract. Yes. A verbal contract.
Thank you.
That bit was really funny too. Is this okay? Verbal contract.
Love it. Anyways, that happens really quickly off the bat. So you don't really know what the story is yet. Yeah. You just know they're going to go on this adventure and they're going to get to this place. And they have like rivals and friends that they meet along the way. And it's kind of like an interweaving, like, all right, they're clashing. They're going their separate ways. This guy met another guy. And now they're going to meet up again. And boom, all these characters interact. And it's interesting how they do that. The cast of characters is pretty dynamic, I would say. I honestly really liked them. So you have your two main characters, which I'm going to say is our main character guy and his demon friend.
Yes, yeah.
They're the main characters. They're the A story. Then there's the B story, which is the main character's oldest rival from childhood. Yeah. They've always been like, they were friends. Some stuff happened. Now they're not friends. Now they're rivals.
And he's a disgraced knight. He's also a bounty hunter. His goal is to bring honor back to his family, become a knight again. And he runs into a girl a few episodes in who is she's a necromancer, right?
She was a necromancer.
And then she turns into a zombie, right?
But she's still a necromancer, but she's also a zombie.
Yeah, that shit blew my mind. I was just like, because here's the thing. There's a lot of like demons and angels in this show, right? Like that's like that, and we'll get to that in a little bit. And I've never really been a big fan of those as a motif.
Imagery,
just not the hugest fan. So seeing
I'm down with it. I like it. Whatever.
Yeah, but seeing this girl as like a necromancer zombie chick, I'm just like, you know what? I like this. Like this is.
But I really liked that.
Yeah, I'm like, this is fun. It's not because she's a little girl. She's also 200 years old. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You know, like
it's all fine. Well, they also don't sexualize it, so it's not one of those things where you have to worry about it. Yeah, thank God.
The only person that gets sexualized is the other girl, like or whatever.
Which is fine because she's a demon.
Yeah, that's her shit, right? So they meet up and they kind of become like a second duo and kind of a buddy thing going on because he doesn't kill her. I don't think he could have. It wasn't very clear. Like when he's gonna kill her, I was like, oh, he killed her, and then like I see her in the next episode, like. Or at the end of the end credits, and I go, oh, she's still alive? It's like, all right, fucking whatever. I don't care. Just fucking keep going. So yeah, there's those two groups, and they meet up here and there. And then there's also this overarching theme where like in this world, because it's not Earth, because there's like 3 moons or whatever. In this world, there was once a dragon. What's his name? Tell me the name.
Bahamut?
Thank you. This dragon came,
like the one. I was trying to think of the other dragon,
no.
And that's why I was like, I didn't think it was time to talk about him, but okay.
But I'm just saying, like in this story, because in the very beginning, it starts off with this. It starts off with like this battle with this dragon just wrecking shop. Yeah. So we find out that this dragon fucked everything up, and in this world, there's angels, there's demons, there's gods and stuff. Zeus and Hades both came together, and they sacrificed themselves to lock this dragon away, right? And in this world, I guess there's this fear that the dragon's gonna come back one day and it's gonna just wreck shit because this dragon doesn't care if you're evil or good. It just wants to fuck shit up. And we quickly learned that like everybody wants our main character girl because she seems to have something inside of her that's like needed to open this dragon to like release it, right? And then there's like a bunch of other characters who are like demons who are like trying to actively have this happen, and then there's angels who are actively trying to stop it from happening, but also fucking with humans because they don't seem to respect humans. It's like this whole thing. Like there's this whole like other plot besides our main character and their journey to fucking Helheim or whatever. There's like a bunch of other shit that's happening, and it took me a while to like really kind of grasp what was going on because they would like introduce people and they sometimes like they'd get like a little name tag or whatever, you know. I'm like, okay, cool, that person must be important. That's Azazel
like,
or whatever.
Oh, that's a character from the game.
I go, cool, that's exactly. Like, oh cool, if you fucking pay $3 you can get Azazel and 200 fucking gold coins or whatever, you know. That's how it felt. So like, absolutely, you know. So like throughout, it took me a while to kind of realize what the whole pieces were and like what everything was going on. And as I think as a whole, like I was telling you, like, I really liked the way the show started, and then like it kind of just went down, in my opinion. Just like my visual, my watching experience was like, I'm like, oh, cool, these characters are interesting. There's nice designs. The animation isn't bad. Like, it starts off with like a really cool chase scene throughout the city with like, the rivals on like horses and stuff. And it was like very reminiscent of like, I was like, oh, like Road to El Dorado. We said like Lupin the Third meets Castlevania, And I was like, it's
completely what it is.
I was like, cool, this would be super dope. And then it became really angels and demons kind of stuff heavy. And I go, this isn't really for me.
I mean, Angels and Demons is fine as long as it's done in an interesting way.
Yeah,
and
for
there
sure.
were parts of it that were, and other parts that definitely weren't, and it felt a little bit uninspired. I was happy that they did nail the whole like demons just like fucking shit up for fun.
Yeah, I think that was good too.
Yeah, I think that they did a really good job. Like, hey, I'm gonna go fuck this stuff up, and they're like, all right, we're gonna check out you fucking up that stuff. But if you do it the way we don't like, we're gonna roast you the whole time. It just felt like very like fun demon torturing, like legit torture.
Or it felt like like demons. Some demons who also had like other like motives. Like it felt like justified. Like like cool. Like I will do this for you, but I am doing this because I'm a bad person and I want this to happen or whatever.
Yep.
It felt fair. The torture bit, I was like, okay, cool. You're just fucking gonna torture someone. All right, you enjoy that. I'm not the biggest fan of torturing like that. You need to have verbal consent. That's all I'm saying. Verbal consent.
Nah, that's not torture. If you got consent, that's not torture.
Then I'm not having it. Anyways,
that's just foreplay, baby.
So it kind of dips down for me. But by the end of it, there's like epic battles and like, characters coming together to fight, the big dragon thing. And and that gets resolved. And then like there's like a little bit afterward, which is like a year and a half later, kind of like a jump forward. Because I was kind of curious, like, obviously the show's pretty old. Obviously there's not a sequel that I've heard of or a second season. So I was like, I wonder if this is one of those shows where it's left open-ended and it just never gets to continue. But they finished it.
Thank God. They actually like ended the story.
Yeah, and that was the happiest part of me finishing the show was like, okay, cool. Things were resolved. These characters still exist in this world doing whatever the fuck they do. I'm okay with this. I'm happy with the way things ended.
I felt like a lot of characters had story arcs, like personal stories that got resolved in different ways, which was awesome, as well as the overarching story being resolved. Like everything kind of got wrapped up, and it didn't feel like it had just happened neatly. It was just like, okay, so we're slowly learning more things that are kind of going on with the world. And then as we kept learning more, we were also just like marking off some of the earlier ones. We're like, all right, so we did that now. And now we did that. And you just have that feeling of satisfaction at the end of it where everything is kind of getting wrapped up.
Yeah, for sure. And that was I think the weirdest thing for me to finish the show and be like, why did I like this so much? Like, why do I feel the way I feel? And I go, oh, cool. It's because I feel like the way it ended was appropriate. And
it's because they ended the goddamn show and they didn't stretch it out forever.
Yeah. There's often times where I'll be watching a show and I go, what the fuck? Why do I hate this? Like, why? And then I go, oh, it's because they took it too far. And like, no, this show, whoever directed it, I don't know if it's based. Oh, I was about to say I don't know if it's based off a manga. We know it's based off a game. So, so obviously they did a good job of knowing when to like, cool, we're gonna tell this one story and it'd be done with it. And I really enjoyed it. That part of it. Like I said, there's the middle parts where I'm just like, not really feeling this. But
so,
it was, as a whole,
do you want to know who directed it?
Yeah, is it some bigwig? Is it Hayao Miyazaki?
I'll give you a couple of them, and I think that's all you're going to need to know how you feel about it exactly. Saint Seiya, Legend of Sanctuary. Everyone's favorite old school 2014 Saint Seiya that was 3D.
I love that one. That one's so good.
Yeah, that one.
They had a manhole cover that spoke.
Inuyashiki. You got no opinion on that?
We
talked about it earlier. It's the fucking guy. It's
the old guy.
Yeah, the robot
I like that
guy.
one. Yeah, that was a good one. Okay. I like that guy.
Gantz Zero.
Oh, it's my fucking dude. It's the Gantz guy.
And Tiger and Bunny.
Oh, cool. We just talking about this guy not too long ago.
So shouts out to Keiichi Satou.
That's great. I mean, like I was saying, like I don't know who. Obviously, he didn't write this, like write the content that it's made off of. But he did a great job of directing it. Right? No, I think he did a good job of like.
It's wild when you learn about that shit where you're just like, oh man, so this guy that was essentially a nobody and he had worked on other things. He somehow made this card game into
like a watchable show.
Good show, yeah, overall. Like, and when I say pretty good, I mean if I watched this when I wasn't that familiar with anime, I would be like, that was fucking cool.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Give me more of that shit. You know?
There's and more often than not, these kind of shows that are, that are based off of games usually just suck. Like they're usually there to just get people in to play their dumb game or whatever. And they're usually
it's
not
based off of a card game or mobile game, yeah.
And it's usually not thought out too well. It's just like, oh god, it just blows. But this one, it was like it felt really well done. It makes sense, and I think a lot of that maybe is because of the director. He did a good job of being like taking this concept, building this little thing, and like boom, and it's like. Cool. It's like signed, sealed, delivered. Here it is. That's all there is to it. There's nothing extra. There's nothing there's no fucking DLC. There's no season 2. It's like you don't need any of that.
I really liked how there was so much of the world that we got to see. Mm-hmm. They had a bunch of different locations. The story felt like it was moving pretty fast at times, and that's not always a bad thing. I think it worked out pretty well in this show. Kyle wasn't really feeling it when we were watching it. He was like, this is going so fast. I'm like, yeah, that's not bad for this, though. I don't know.
I'd rather watch that than them take 4 episodes of them trying to get money to leave town or something like that,
Exactly.
It's like, oh, yeah, just get going. Fucking get on your horse and go. That felt like good. The pacing for this felt like...
It felt natural for the characters.
Absolutely, because the characters were very... I would say they're not the most... the characters weren't the most I guess classic anime characters you would see. He wasn't a fucking loser who tries really hard. He wasn't the perfect boy, the golden boy. He was different.
He's kind of a shitty dude, he's great, but
he's kind of talented. He's in a way charming at times, and he's kind of like a miscreant. And then my biggest issue, if we're gonna talk about things I didn't like, I really didn't like the girl character.
You didn't like Amira?
I didn't.
You didn't like this one that went from a super moody, possibly evil person into, I don't know, she's having fun being tortured and being kind of cute about it. And then she winds up being absolutely zero personality, just a girl that's along for the ride.
She becomes essentially a child, like a baby. She's being taught, and I go, what? It's that's not who I expect. I expected her when we first got introduced to her to be cool. She's some sort of again, not knowing what the show's about. She's some sort of demon angel, some other extraworldly creature who is super powerful, who needs help getting somewhere because she doesn't know where she's going. But I expected her to have some sort of brain, right? But she was taught what alcohol was. She was taught how to dance, and then later on, she's just taught a bunch of other things that I feel are very remedial things, like this is what a father is and this is what a mother is. I'm like what the fuck's going on? And what really grinded me was the voice, her, because I watched it in Japanese or whatever. The voice actor, something about it really irked me. Anytime this bitch cried or yelled, oh man, it was so annoying. And I just couldn't stand her. And then other characters grew, other characters developed into some our main character I feel had a great development into this other
Favreau
person.
Was fantastic. I feel Kaiser, his rival, was also amazing.
Really good. What's the name of the Jonah Arc chick? Is
John Dark. Yeah.
I really liked her too.
She was sick. I loved her story. I honestly liked all of their stories a lot, except for Amira. Amira just fucking sucked. Lucifer was fine. Azazel, Azazel was good. Yeah, I don't know, man.
But she sucked, right? She just was nothing. There's a bit at the very end, and I'm not going to spoil it because I don't, go watch it because there's nothing else to watch. But it's just okay, cool. She seems to have some brain cells, but earlier, 2 minutes ago, she's just scarfing down food in the kitchen like a fucking monster.
Yeah, they went with the old demon loves to eat food trope.
Yeah. So, anyways, her as a whole was my least favorite bit. I was expecting her to do something completely different, and she just ended up being way, way too much. And I go, nah, not having it. Like there's a point where they're like, the dragon's like, you should kill her, and everything will be fine. And I go, you should fucking kill her. Why
it. You won't
kill her. Do it. I'm like waiting.
Yeah. Well, fun fact: the voice actress plays Nurse Joy in the recent Sun and Moon series.
Yeah, sounds like it. She's a fucking piece of shit.
No, that's actually her only main role. Everything else that I see here is supporting roles.
Well, makes sense. So. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she should get good.
Whoa.
Okay, something I did like also were, I said, excluding a lot of the super edgy angels and demons, character designs.
Yeah.
Like our main character...
Dude, Kaiser, I liked him a lot.
Well, Kaiser was the boy, the prince boy.
He's the rival, yeah.
The night boy. Yeah, okay, so cool. We'll get into both of them, but the main character boy
Favreau
had an afro, a red afro mullet thing going on. Scar on his face, super dope like hat. His sword on the hilt of it had a little timer, like a clock. I was like, why? Who the fuck cares? He had the dopest boots, you know?
He was sick.
Something with, you know, I was like, wow, what a like interesting and refreshing design. Like I couldn't tell what period he was. Like at points I'm like, he's kind of cowboy-y. There's points where he's kind of like medieval-y. And I was like,
well, because he had a really sick 6-shot mini crossbow.
Yeah, right. That thing was fucking dope. And I was just like, why doesn't everybody have these? These are sick as fuck. He's in it's a fucking grappling hook too. Who the fuck doesn't like grappling hook? Anyways, super cool design. Scar on his face, and I'm not like a little, not like an itty bitty, you know, like scar, like a really big prominent ugly X on his face. And I go, what a good design. Anytime he did the bit where he's just like, look at my eyes, I'm not lying, and then he smiles, I was like, yeah, I like this guy, this character. I think he's awesome. Now the Night Boy, he had the weird hair clips, right? He's got like a weird like pomp thing going. Yeah, you know, black hair clips on the side. He's got like
with a giant ass collar
looking like here, looking like fucking Seto Kaiba from fucking Yu-Gi-Oh, ready to fucking duel.
Great, yeah.
It's like things like that. Like they're like, what cool like little elements. Like even like the zombie chick, you know, like she has the scars where her arms and legs aren't connected. One of my two favorite, because I have two bits of animation where like, wow, these are really cool scenes. The scene where she throws the pellet to try to turn Jonah Arc back into a human, and she throws her arm, and then her arm throws her wrist or whatever, and then her wrist, like pinky throws like, or index finger throws the pellet. I'm like, that's so fucking cool. Like I'd never seen anything like that.
Hey, have you seen Final Fantasy VII Advent Children?
I don't think
if you can't remember, we're gonna watch that, because if you liked that, we're watching this movie for one specific scene. Which I'll just go ahead and fucking spoil, because who cares? They're having a crazy fight. It's a giant ass city. They're on top of like the biggest skyscraper there is, and they've got people that are running up the building, like running up the side of it, and they're throwing each other. So it's a whole chain of people that are just chucking each other up the building, and then they're in the sky, and one of them's like, "Yep, here we go!" Just chucks them even higher.
I don't think
it's so
I've seen that.
sick. It's like the sickest sequence. The movie's amazing, you know.
But you know what I'm saying? Like that was like such a cool
No, it feels really cool seeing those moments of momentum and fluid motion done in unrealistic ways so cool. It adds like a whole different element to it where you're like, all right, this chick, she's a necromancer, that's her whole thing. No, she's also like really smart in how she does certain things, like throwing her arm and then throwing her like finger or whatever. Like that's crazy. It's so stupid and it's great. Yeah.
If someone hadn't designed like her to have those like stitches on her arms and be like, these can detach, like that never would have happened, right? So I was like, that was super cool. And then my other favorite part, like another really cool clip of animation, was the two boys are going to duke it out. I think they're in the kitchen and they're both using like utensils and stuff. And it's like they're fighting for all of maybe like 10 seconds, and then someone makes them knock it off. It's just so good because like I'm ready to see these fuckers fight. They start clashing, and then like someone knocks them off, and I go, oh, that would have been super cool. But I love this, that even at any moment these assholes like hate each other, even though they don't hate each other. Like they actually really like each
respect,
other. Yeah, man. There's a lot of good things, a lot of positives, a lot of cool things.
I mean, we come into most of these shows having a little bit of preconceived notions, like whether we think we're going to like it or not based off of like a certain series that we tried. I'm like, all right, well, everybody talks about this all the time, but everyone talks about Konosuba all the time, and I'm not part of that fan base, and it's not for me. We'll see how I go with this, expecting kind of like to not like it, and then not being super surprised. But this one, being an anime we had never heard of, being a like kind of an edgy name, Rage of Bahamut, it's straight up fucking edgy. Genesis, it's intimidating. You go into it and you're thinking, is this going to be just like a super edgy, not super great time? Or are we going to have a fun time and they're going to do some cool things? And overall, like, this was a really easy watch. This is one of the easiest things that I've had to watch lately, where you don't have to be incredibly engaged with it.
Or super invested, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to be super invested. It's a very short show. It's good. It's worth checking out if you need something. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those shows where I'm like, I'm not going to recommend it to people necessarily. Because it has that Castlevania feeling. So if somebody's like, oh, I fucking love Castlevania, and they also like some goofy fun shows, then I'm like, all right, well, if you like Castlevania and goofy fun shit, like maybe this show's for you. Check it out.
Absolutely.
Give it a few episodes before you know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's there's a lot in there to unpack. Like I said, like we were saying, like the weakest bits are probably like some of the story elements just aren't, super fleshed out, and it feels like it's a case of the pacing, case of the source material. So it's like it's fine, but cool animations, interesting characters. Amazing, there's some solid development, which is always nice. The designs, like I said, I really liked a lot of the
character design. Great sets,
super interesting world.
Overall, I feel like the animators went above and beyond with this show. Its biggest faults were the storytellers.
Yeah.
And the audio. The audio wasn't my favorite. There were a lot of like sound effects that were just
there's some just bad music at times, like some like the levels are too high, or like it just fell out of place, or like it's just like very generic epic music, like epic fight, cool, play the epic music soundtrack number 2, kind of thing. Which is like meh, sometimes you want something a little extra. But yeah, you did notice that the audio wasn't the best. It's not like we were saying, it's not a must watch. It's a easy watch. It was like I don't feel like I lost any time, but I feel like okay, I'm glad I stuck with it. I'm glad I finished it.
Like you had a story. You didn't have to figure out what the story was. Instead, it was just, we're going to go on an adventure and we're going to get to this location, and more things about that kind of reveal itself like quickly. And you realize, okay, so this is a story where this chick has to go here in order to make sure that Bahamut isn't revived. And then clearly, all right, so there are going to be some twists and turns where people are trying to get Bahamut to be revived, or they're hindering certain things because they need this certain key element to it to revive Bahamut or prevent people from reviving him. It's a whole weird thing.
For sure.
And the story was super easy to follow. It's just, it's a fine time.
Yeah, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. I do want to talk about an actual like the ending and shit. Like, so I want to spoil.
All right, so I guess like big spoiler time versus.
So if you want to watch the show, from earlier. if you want to watch the show, check it out. It's on Hulu. I'm gonna at least talk about something that's I would consider very spoily. But yeah, so I think another big issue is just like why I didn't like it was I don't know how to explain this, but the bad guy, like the main villain, was Beelzebub or whatever, and he was like, cool, he's gonna free the dragon because he wants to be in charge, he wants to control the dragon. He has this idea that if he's the one that frees the dragon will listen to him and he'll be in charge. Which is completely wrong, because like we saw that like Zeus and Hades, who are both missing in the series because they sacrificed themselves, had to do that. So this dragon doesn't give a fuck about like what side are you on. He's just gonna destroy shit. But then there's the other guy. I don't remember his name, but he's the dude that like was a bounty. He could change his face and stuff, and he was turning people into demons.
That was. Ooh, hang on.
The main character called her like her teacher or whatever. Like that. You know who I'm talking about, at least, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to find the name. I'm looking up a bunch of characters.
This bad guy, he did have the bit where like his motivation was just to just have everything be destroyed, And I do appreciate that.
Martinet?
I don't fucking know. I don't remember. So I do appreciate that whole element about like him being like, he just wants to see everything burn. He doesn't think about fuck. He wants to see everything be destroyed. And so he's the one pulling a lot of strings. And I don't know. I think my issue is like, I felt like it was very predictable as to like, obviously Beelzebub doesn't know what he's doing. And that this guy is the one that's obviously doing all this shit. What I didn't like was how easily he was like defeated. How easily he got like, fucked up, because like, he's fighting, it's said at one point, because, you know, our main characters also have the dude that's like a fucking god, you know, that's like their boy. He's like, yeah, there's this bounty guy. Like, so he has a bounty. So yeah, so the rules are for if you have a bounty on you, when a bounty hunter finds you, they say the weird enchantment thing with their wrist, and they can lock you into this tile thing. And that's all it took. They cut off the dude's arm and they said the thing and he was gone. I go, really? That's it? That like at any point they could have just fucking said that shit.
Dude, Bacchus just didn't want to ruin the day. He's the god guy with his little bird duck homie Hamsa.
I'm fucked. I'm probably bummed out that I didn't mention that before. Spoilers. But seeing the scene of like the two guys ride a giant duck into this fucking battlefield.
Spoilers at the end. So yeah, we're good.
That shit was so fucking cool. That was one of the cleanest. I was like, oh man, this is so fucking dumb. But yeah, so that's my biggest. I think the biggest. One of my biggest issues, besides not liking the main character girl.
Was it Pazuzu? Was that the one?
I don't know.
The big lion mane guy?
But is just not liking the bad guy being so easily thwarted. And it just being like, it's just this thing. Yeah. And then, and then when they kill or lock Beelzebub or whatever. No. Bahamut. When they beat Bahamut, all he does is like stab really hard at the head,
It was Shadow of the Colossus. He hit the weak point and he absorbed all of the dark energy.
I don't know. I just, I guess. I fucking don't know.
Well, okay. So one of the coolest things in this show to me was when they went to the ancient forest dragon, which is just a watcher. He watches everything for all eternity. He knows everything that happens. And then he is wounded by a shard from Bahamut. Don't know exactly what it is. It could be like a
tooth or something,
nail, a tooth. It could be a scale, something like that. But the ancient forest dragon is just like, hey, thanks for helping me out with that shit. I'm not allowed to do anything. I literally just watch everything, and now I'm talking to you. You could take that. It can like possibly tear through the fabric of time or whatever. It'll help you kill Bahamut. And I was just like, what? That's the coolest fucking weapon. And he's just so casual about it. Like, yeah, take that shit, dude. Anyways, my super cool mushroom forest. You can hang out here forever, or you could go try to kill him. Whatever you want to do. You're good, dude.
That's really funny.
I loved the ancient forest dragon.
It did. That bit made me reminded me a lot of like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where it's like these group of idiots just kind of keep moving around at different places, and like it reminded me of the swamp. They end up at the swamp, and I'm like, all right, cool. So like it's they'll get around to doing the things they're supposed to do eventually, and they eventually did. They eventually beat the bad guy. Oh yeah, that was really funny.
I loved that area also too. Like anytime a mushroom forest is a thing, I'm so into it. Since Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I am into it.
To clarify, can you help me out here? The main girl, the demon chick, was actually like a clone of an angel. Like
what?
Like he got like zapped and they got separated, right? And like she's like, I'm gonna go see my mother because all her memories are like, fake or whatever. But her mother is actually herself, who's an angel. Is that good? I might have dozed off in a bit when they're trying to explain that.
You know what? I think that's the cleanest way to explain whatever mess she actually is.
Yeah, because it didn't fucking make any sense. She's like, she's a demon. They're like, they hold up the bracelet, like, nah, not a demon. And then someone comes up and is like, hey, check it out. Boom, demon. He's like, yeah, that demon was posing as an angel earlier. I was like, what is she? What the fuck's going on here?
She's like, I'm an angel demon. Sometimes I both. Yeah, like
hungry.
Bahamut, middle of both. Me too. And then she's a key, and she goes inside of his eye, and then he nukes the whole world.
Then he comes out of the eye, and they fucking kiss. I'm like, hey, get it, boy.
Honestly, though, Jeanne d'Arc's whole story was great. She's just like an amazing knight, and she's fighting for all of the angels
and humanity.
And then she gets like a bunch of holy power to help her out, and she gets corrupted by the demons, and then. Oh, man, just such a crazy story. And then Michael comes in and is just like, bro, you gotta chill out. I don't want to kill you. And then he gets fucking killed by her. And you're like, whoa, Michael, you were so hot. Why'd you have to die?
Jonah's character or whatever, she reminded me a lot of like a super cool character that's in D&D. This chick's the badass. Like, she just doesn't fucking care. She's super
she reminds
strong.
me of what Rika's mom probably is from Made in Abyss.
Yeah, like a total G.
Yeah.
And like to the point where you'd be like, she would help you with the quest, and then you'd be like, oh my god, you're so awesome. Will you come with us and help us finish the actual quest? And then she's like, nah, I'm kind of busy doing other stuff, like saving the world.
I got a lot of cool shit to do. You guys do your little thing. If I need to help out, I can. She's like a Captain Marvel type, you know?
Oh, yeah, she was, yeah, OP. So when the big fight happens, they send her off world like a billion miles away. She was super cool. I also really liked, because there's times where they use 3D animation and regular animation, and there's times it's done more successfully, like with the dragon and bits. I'm like, I'll accept that. The thing that was pulling the cart for the drunk god or whatever looked horrible.
God, what do I don't even know what to call that. It was some kind of like a hippogriff style thing.
It was hideous. It was so bad. But something that I really thought was super cool were
like a bad chimera.
Were the I think they called them the Goliaths that were in the wall. They would come out to fight the demons. I thought those were super sick. I was like, why are we watching more of this? I would watch the anime of just these fucking things coming out the wall.
Sick stuff, dude.
Yeah. All in all, I'm happy I watched it. It wasn't a waste of time.
A lot of praise, but that being said, the story wasn't compelling in any way, and the characters fell flat at a lot of different points.
The game's really fun, though. We should play the game.
Yeah. Anyways, we are becoming a Rage of Bahamut Genesis card game podcast. So next week, get ready because we're building our new decks. Yeah.
I'm pretty done. Are you done?
Yeah, I don't got much more to say. It was all right. The intro really grew on me, though. At first, I was like, this is a jamming intro. And by the end of it, I was like, yeah, I'm still jamming. Who would have thunk? But yeah, the outro was not great. One thing that they did do is they would also do preview bits where the characters are like talking and stuff, and it's a little bit meta. And there was one like get ready for next episode thing where they were like singing the outro song, which I thought was funny.
I don't think I realized that one. But yeah, I like the intro too. I like the visuals for the intro. I thought it was very cool when they did like the posters and stuff. And the intro made me think the show was going to be something completely different. I was like, oh, there's going to be bounty hunters doing bounty hunter stuff. And I was like, they're barely bounty hunters. They're kind of like the chosen ones. They're going to save the world. But guess what? They're bounty hunters through and through or whatever.
It was dope. It was fun.
Yeah. Like I said, in the intro had the fucking the globe thing moving. I was like, for every second I was like, oh, fucking can't wait to watch Game of Thrones. And then I was like, it was gone.
Just get tricked every time.
Yep. Okay. So that's it for this week. Next week we doing the lad.
We're doing Blood Lad.
Blood Lad,
which is another suggestion.
Yeah, from a listener. I think it was Matthew. I think I don't remember.
We're committing to it.
Matthew or Mick. He called himself Mick. I don't know who he is.
I don't know, anyways, man.
He told us to check out Blood Lad. It is also on Hulu, so check it out.
It's also from a time before our podcast, 2013.
Yep. You texted me. You're just like, "Hey man, have you seen any of this yet?" He goes, "The name's kind of like ominous or daunting or whatever." And
it's when you hear Blood Lad, you're like, "How edgy is this shit?"
Yeah, exactly. And I go, I saw a clip of it, I think like a teaser clip on YouTube for a second, and I go, I think it's about vampires, and it's like, yeah, it's probably about vampires. I have no way to know besides watching the show or looking it up, but I'm gonna guess it's about vampires. Watch it just be about people working in blood, like in a blood lab.
Oh, it's not that.
It's for sure vampire stuff.
I'm pretty sure it's vampires. We'll find out. We'll talk about it next week. Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. If you like our logo, hit up AmberTrevyTops.com, even though she's not there anymore. If you like our theme song, check out Tom Master on SoundCloud or YouTube. Trip, where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram Podcast. You can find us on Instagram. Look up the Instagram Podcast. If you want to tweet at us, tweet at InstaRamPod.
Podcast benefit.
And you can go ahead and shoot us an email, InstaRamPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for listening. And thank you for tuning in to our Twitch stream. We're doing that on twitch.tv/Crispather. We had some fucking technical difficulties at the beginning, which we gotta. It was going too smooth. We were like, this is good. All right, let's start streaming. And then, of course, lost audio. And while I was doing other shit, I didn't see everyone saying that there was no audio. So,
well, yeah. Hey, we'd appreciate you guys letting us know if there's a show for us to watch. There's, we're going through a dry spell right now with, stuff being either postponed or pushed back to like later this year or next year. So yeah, reasonable amounts of shows with like reasonable amount of episodes that you'd be willing to have us check out. Anything past, what was it? 2018 when we started the podcast?
No, it was like 2016, dude.
I don't think so. It hasn't been 4 years. Has it
only been 3?
I think it's been 3 years.
I've been working at my job for over 3 years, dude.
Yeah, but
you haven't 4 years.
No, there's no way. There's no way. Anyway,
I've been here for 2 years. I was at Pine Tree a full year before I moved there.
Okay, I'm not going to argue about where you were.
And it was before my podcast. Or it was like the podcast was before I got my job there. Like half a year before.
You think so? I thought
so. Half a year and then 1 year, so 1.5, and then I was there for another half, and then we were at 2, and this is another 2. Dude, whoa! Is it almost 4 years? Are we that good of friends? I mean, hobby homies.
I guess yeah, we're business associates.
What?
So yeah, so anything? Okay, so that'd be 2016, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
anything before then,
anything before 2016, we probably haven't seen. So that's a good, fucking mark to shoot for. Like,
and I've gone down everything on Crunchyroll by each season, I should say, per year, and seen all of the different shows to see what we've missed out on, what we're familiar with. And there are a lot that I look at and I'm like, doesn't look good. Tell me if anything's good. I want to watch something. I want to watch some old shit that, might be legit.
Cool. So that's the podcast. This is bye from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.